In this lesson, we will be exploring the intranet and extranet. We will look at their uses and their differences. We will also explore the concepts of virtualization, network automation, and discuss their benefits. We'll go into the lab for the last part of the lesson to show you the installment process of VirtualBox for virtualization and the steps for setting up file sharing on a Windows laptop. A really big welcome from all of us here at Shaw Academy. We are here to help you learn the skills you need to succeed today. By now, you already know that Edwin is the subject matter expert for this course. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience and is passionate about sharing it. The internet, intranet, and extranet. And will show you how these networks increase productivity in an enterprise network. We will also explore virtualization and its benefits and introduce you to automation as the future of technology. And you'll see how encrypted information, traffic, is sent over the extranet network. So lots happening here. Let's waste no time and get cracking. There seems to be a lot of complexity associated with the term intranet. It might be simply because the terms internet and intranet are so similar that if they're not used and pronounced correctly, they can cause great confusion. So we're going to look at the concept of the intranet more closely here. We'll talk about the logical setup of an intranet and look at some of its benefits. So, what is the intranet? In the simplest terms, the intranet is a private network often used by organizations. An intranet would have been created for a specific organization for the sharing of data and resources and the use of collaborating tools, along with various other computing services within the company's network. Users outside the organization are not able to access it. So now we know what an intranet is. As you can see from the diagram, an extranet, which we will talk more about later in this lesson, is an intranet that is accessible to some people from outside the company. But more about that a little bit later. We probably don't have to explain the internet, but we will do so because of what we said earlier about it often being confused with an intranet. The internet is a global system of interconnected networks. We will go into all this in more detail a bit later. So how does the intranet work? The intranet operates in the same way as the internet, using the TCP/IP protocol stack to establish communication. But clearly, only the employees of the company would have access to the intranet network. In a modern intranet, documents are transmitted easier and faster because they're stored within the organization's network. Employees can create profiles, share comments, and post comments within the network. When it comes to the intranet, it is vital for an organization to carefully consider the nature of their business before setting up this system. While it is designed to provide a secure collaboration between employees who may need to share sensitive or private information, it can pose an information security risk if it is hacked or damaged. Here is a diagram summarizing how the internet works in a neat nutshell. So basically, an intranet helps big organizations to communicate efficiently. The internet is used to communicate in three main ways in a company: as a collaboration platform, internal web platform, and a distributed platform. The word collaborate means working with someone to produce something. Because of the intranet's collaboration platform, users are able to publish content and collectively manage tasks to achieve their goals. They do this by using software such as Slack, Trello, Microsoft Teams, Google Docs, etc. Now let's have a look at a real-life example of this. A manager has given a task to a team of 4 people. They need to come up with a new business idea for the company. Each member of the team has to compile research on one of these business areas: current business to business, B2B, business to consumer B2C, consumer to business C2B, and consumer to consumer C2C models of business. Now, the easiest way for the team to communicate efficiently on this task will be to run one of the collaboration software programs mentioned earlier on their private network, Intranet. This way, they will be able to share their different resources in real time. Due to the nature of the intranet, companies can host their own private web server that is only accessible to the employee. In this platform, employees can be updated on the changes in the company. There is one-way publishing. Although employees can interact with the use of comments, likes, hashtags, etc. A good example of this would be news feeds, where employees can publish different articles, journals, etc. Companies often use the distributed platform to manage the centralized user database. Companies like Amazon and Facebook, for example, need to keep track of different running applications that are being used within the company, who has access to them. So by using a directory service such as Microsoft's Active Directory, companies can manage the phone directory and access control system, among other things. Big companies make use of the intranet because it offers various benefits. Now, these include accessible information. With the use of a content management system, CMS, and document management system, DMS, employees will be able to host, share, and even collaborate on different documents needed for their day-to-day task. Okay, next we have globalized connection. In big businesses, there is always the need to keep teams informed. Employees working on different tasks can update their process in real time. They can also search for other employees across all geographical locations and view their job title, skill set, and other information about them. It's almost like having a form of Facebook within the company network. Then we have Spring Framework Lifecycle. Businesses can plan projects with the use of CMS and DMS to deliver exceptional results and meet high turnover rates. Okay, here follow some more benefits. Mapping employee engagement. Most big businesses usually measure employee engagement to optimize business performance. Some companies use integrated survey tools to measure their employees' Net Promoter Score, ENPS, and use this information to segment staff into promoters, passives, and critics. An example of a typical ENPS question is, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely is it that you would recommend this company as a place to work? Then we have security. Security is one of the most important benefits of the intranet because all users have to be in the company network to be able to access any company resources. This eliminates the chances of an intruder in the company network. We'll talk much more about this later in the course. The extranet is simply just a modification of the intranet, in that the entire intranet is connected to the internet with the use of a wireless LAN controller to the ISP. Basically, the extranet is a secured private network designed for an organization which leverages the use of internet technology to maximize effective communication. It benefits both employees within the company and others working remotely, who are able to connect to the company's network. Here's a clever diagram showing the link between an intranet and extranet. You may want to snap and save this diagram to examine more closely later. Alternatively, you will find it within the summary notes for this lesson. Did you know some businesses use their extranet as a customer portal to enhance customer relations? A portal is a gateway or window that allows users to interrelate with a company's systems and applications. The extranet is often used when remote work is promoted by companies, such as during COVID-19. Employees connect to their company through the internet via the organization's portals. Do you remember Lesson 4 when we spoke about WANs, wide area networks? It's that. It's when someone working on a remote site can access their company's network through the company portals anywhere there is internet connectivity. Clearly, the introduction of the internet to the intranet brings a whole host of further benefits, and we'll look at those just now. So, how exactly does the extranet work? As you can see from the diagram, when company employees are given end devices such as laptops and smartphones, a VPN, virtual private network, is configured on these end devices. When the employee connects to the extranet, every packet is encrypted by the VPN, virtual private network. When the packet arrives at the company network, it goes through a decryption process before it arrives at the intended destination. This decryption process is carried out by the IPsec. So, what exactly is IPsec? IPsec is the abbreviation for Internet Protocol Security, a secure network protocol that helps authenticate, encrypt, and decrypt every packet of data provided to communicate between two devices in a network. IPsec is mostly used in environments using VPNs, virtual private networks, where there is a need for secure communication. Basically, IPsec establishes a VPN tunnel to transmit a secure packet using end-to-end encryption. We will be touching base on VPN in more detail later in this course. For now, our focus is on IPsec. So let's now look at some common features of IPsec. When it comes to the use of IPsec protocol, there are 4 fab features. They are confidentiality. Companies use the IPsec protocol due to the fact that it protects sensitive information. For example, in the case of a network attack, any packet that is captured by a hacker will be all encrypted so that the details of the packet will not be visible. Then we have integrity. Every packet is scrambled using the mathematical hash function. The encrypted packet then travels between the employee network and the internet and extranet and is only decrypted on arrival at the intended receiver. Then we have authentication. Before an end-to-end secure communication is established, both the sender and receiver need to authenticate their access before the VPN tunnel is established. This is often done with the use of passwords, biometrics, or two-factor authentication. And then we have anti-replay. When an encrypted packet from an authenticated user is captured and a hacker tries to resend the explicit content in the packet, the VPN will drop it. As you can see in the diagram, the IP packet has different segments that help to ensure it doesn't resend captured packets. This is done with the use of sequence numbers in the IPsec authentication. Basically, any duplicated packets will be dropped and not sent through the VPN. So to summarize, the extranet basically has exactly the same uses as the intranet. Employees will be able to enjoy the same benefits and more when they switch to the extranet. In other words, when they introduce the internet to their existing intranet using a VPN. Here is a useful table comparing the 3 networks we've just been speaking about. Now, from a cybersecurity point of view, take note of the differences in terms of the last 3 rows: accessibility, information sharing, and owner. Again, feel free to snap and save this for later, or you'll find it in the summary notes. Due to the rapid growth of technology, companies were constantly looking for a cheaper way to fully use the resources of their computer. This gave rise to the idea of virtualization, creating virtual or software-based alternatives for computer hardware like servers and networks. So what is virtualization? Virtualization is the process of creating simulated or virtual computer environments as opposed to physical environments. This is done by creating a partition on the physical hardware component to run 2 or more virtual representation applications or operating systems. And it is used to boost efficiency and reduce costs. As you can see in this diagram, more applications are able to be created from the existing hardware in place. With virtualization, there is no wastage of hardware resources in the system. Every piece of hardware is fully utilized. When exploring virtualization on systems, you will notice some common characteristics. These are the following. Partitioning. Partitions are created for the computer to split its original resources with the virtual ones, so that multiple virtual operating systems can be launched on the physical machine. Isolation. Because of partitioning, any fault or security issue is isolated at hardware level, so other virtual representation applications will not be affected. If there is a security issue, only those specific running virtual applications will be affected. This obviously saves everything else from being corrupted. Then we have encapsulation. A virtual machine is basically a software container that holds bundles of applications. For example, a collection of virtual hardware resources, as well as an operating system and all its applications. By saving the entire state of the virtual computer to the allocated hardware file, encapsulation makes virtual machines incredibly portable and easy to manage. There are many benefits for companies, particularly big businesses. They will enjoy the benefits if they opt for virtualization. Now, these include the following: increased scalability. Imagine a scenario where an employee needs to use both a Linux distributed operating system, Ubuntu for example, for administrative work, and her MacBook for other tasks. The company will simply implement the use of virtualization to run the Ubuntu on the MacBook. So she will be able to operate both operating systems on a single device rather than having two computers. It is cost saving. Implementing virtualization on a single device is always a cost saver. And of course, this can be rolled out across the whole IT department. Increase performance. Virtualization enables companies to maximize performance by fully utilizing the resources of the existing hardware rather than acquiring new equipment. And then minimize downtime and improve disaster recovery. Virtualization enables companies to create backups or clones of existing virtual applications running on their system, in the case of a failure on one system. The administrator managing the network can easily deploy the backed up or clone system to replace the failed one. In our next lesson, we will take a closer look at enterprise infrastructures. We will look at the various types of infrastructure such as centralized, decentralized, converged, and hyperconverged. We'll show you examples of each, chat about how they operate, and compare their structures and benefits. We're now going to turn our attention to network automation in big companies. We will look at how network automation has been used to set up a specific pipeline of instruction to protect connected devices in a network a bit later. But for now, we just want to understand the basics of network automation. So what is network automation? Network automation is the use of dedicated software to set a specific pipeline of instruction to be executed, such as testing. This means that as soon as the testing phase has been completed, the deployment phase will be initialized simultaneously without the interference of any operator. Network automation often works in conjunction with network virtualization. A modern network automation platform has recently been hosted in the cloud, which makes them more accessible and secure for other vending companies to use. With network automation, every network task and function can be preset to avoid repetitive processes and errors in a system. So why should companies use network automation? It's fast, for speed. Network automation enables companies to speed up the process it takes for an application to be deployed by automating the network processes through the completion of the application life cycles across the entire company. It saves costs. Companies that use network automation save a lot of money. Traditionally, a company would have needed to employ someone to do these tasks, but with the use of the automated system, tedious and manual processes are eliminated. This saves the company time and money. It reduces errors. In science, human error is inevitable. Now, with the use of an automated network, companies can totally minimize human errors by simply setting some pipeline of instruction to the network. The process can be repeated hundreds of times without an error in the system. Basically, to summarize, companies need automation in their network to ensure speed, reliability, efficiency, and flexibility. Future-proofing your career is less about picking a safe job and more about constantly updating your skills. We believe that you can build your own credentials, design your own learning, and develop a multitude of skills. Do you know about our membership options? Take a look and choose a plan to suit your own needs. Network sharing is a feature that allows resources to be shared over a network, be they files, documents, folders, or media. Network sharing allows connected users to share resources over a network connection. In this section, we will walk you through the steps of setting up a network file sharing on Windows 10. This is a peer-to-peer local area network LAN, and will work for users in the same workgroup or working for the same company. Now, for sharing to take place, both devices need to be in the same network. For example, the same Wi-Fi or LAN connection. Initializing network sharing gives the user the opportunity to allow certain files or restrict them. These files and folders can be viewed by users on the same network. We're now going to demonstrate to you how to set up for a LAN public folder sharing using File Explorer. You can do this with either Linux, Mac, or even your Windows laptop. But for this demonstration, we will be working on Windows. The idea is to create a situation where you're able to share files while connected to the local area network. Let's get started. On your Windows laptop, look for the search terminal. Search for File Explorer on Windows 10 and open it. Navigate to the file folder you want to share on the network. In our case, we will be sharing a folder named My Share File. Right-click on the folder and scroll down to the Properties section. A new tab will open, showing the properties of the selected folder or file like this. Note, you can see the network path. A network path or shared path is a location where your files or folders are stored. A path points to a file or folder location by following the directory tree hierarchy. Take note on the path in our case. Click on the Share tab to open a new tab. From this new tab, you'll be able to choose different users you wish to share with. Click on the drop-down to select the user or group you want to share the file or folder with. In this case, we choose everyone because let's pretend we want to be able to share with everyone in our work group. Next, you need to give the appropriate permission to everyone. Now, at the permission level section, select the type of sharing permissions you want the folder to have. You can select Read. Select this if you want everyone in the user group to be able to view and open the files. Read or Write. Select this if you want users in the same workgroup to be able to view, open, modify, or delete the content on the folder. Note the network path for that folder. Then click the Done button, and it is as simple as that. The process we've just taken you through may have you wondering how you create a home group or a work group on a laptop to share files with, or how you join a home group or work group to get files that have been shared with you. So let's walk you through that process now. Okay, follow these steps. As you did before on your Windows laptop, find the search terminal. Open it, and you should see this. Click on Network and Internet and select Home Group. Select the folders and files that you want to be able to share. For example, pictures, videos, music, documents, printer, and devices from the list. For files or folders you don't want to share, select the Not Shared option. Click on Next, and you will see this. The last part of the process is to save the password. Anyone in the workgroup will need to use it to access the files shared. So now you know how to create a home or workgroup. So let's show you how to join one. Repeat the same first 3 steps as for creating a home group. Open the control panel, click on Network and Internet, then scroll down to the home group. Choose Home Group. You will be invited to join now. Once you click on Join Now, don't forget to enter the saved password. And that's it. And for the lab exercise, I'm actually going to show you how to carry out visualizations using your own personal laptop. So we can also create visualizations using cloud components. So what that means is literally on the cloud, you can actually create partitions and host virtual machines on the cloud, which will still be exactly the same as you actually have it on your personal laptop. But the only difference between those two processes is the cloud platform is paid. So basically, we can actually see on Amazon and Azure, we can actually host virtual machines. But the only problem is that they will charge you for actually using those platforms. But in this process, we are not going to be paying any fee. We're just going to be installing a software called VirtualBox on our personal laptop. And this will enable us to run different sorts of virtual machines on our personal laptop by sharing the hardware resources on our laptop. So to get started, first we're going to need a software called VirtualBox. So to get to that point, all you would need is a laptop and the internet. And on your web browser, you just go to Google and type in the word VirtualBox. When you type in the word VirtualBox, it should bring you to the same page. And on the first search field in here, you can actually see Download Oracle VM VirtualBox. So basically what this means is this tool or piece of software has originally been developed by Oracle. And because of the way the software is being made, you can have it on your Windows laptop, you can have it on your MacBook, you can have it on your Linux laptop. Basically, you can have it on whichever laptop or computer you're actually running on. And this will enable you to create multiple partitions on your laptop to be able to run all of the virtual machines on your laptop. And just to clarify, when I say machines, I mean operating systems. So you can have multiple virtual operating systems residing on one laptop. So, to get started, we have to go to this URL, which is www.virtualbox.org. And this will take us to this page. Now, it takes us directly to the original page from VirtualBox. We can also confirm this website is secured, which means we're not loading a dangerous web page. And we can actually just go through the page to see what the whole page entails. But essentially, what this page shows you is a couple of things. So firstly, it shows you the platforms you can actually download these on. And at the moment, we can see we can download it on Windows, we can download on a Mac OS, we can download on a Linux. Then we can also download this on a Solaris host as well. In our case, we're actually using a Windows host. What I mean by Windows host, we're actually using a Windows laptop. So we just click on Windows Host, and you can see here it starts to download immediately. And then we wait while that's downloading. And next, we need to also download another piece of software as well. So you remember when I said the VirtualBox enables us to actually create partitions on our hard drive and also helps to fully utilize every hardware resources we have on our personal laptops. So basically, I'm going to show you another piece of software. And the first piece of software I'm going to be showing you is Ubuntu. And the second one is Metasploit. And the third one is CyberOps Workstation. These are all virtual machines, and we can simply install them on our VirtualBox. So to get started, I will start up with the Ubuntu ISO. So the ISO stands for the file formats that is being installed on the VirtualBox. If you go to your Google and type in the word Ubuntu ISO, that should take you to the exact same page. But if you don't get to this page, it's fine. All you have to do is just search for the word Download Ubuntu Desktop, and that should take you to exactly the same page. So when we click on this page, we can learn it takes us to the home page of Ubuntu. So basically, Ubuntu is just a free open source software. So what that means, Ubuntu is part of Linux distribution, and it's totally free. And you can actually install it directly on your computer, or you can install it using the VirtualBox tool. Now, before we go deep into the downloading process, let's just talk a little bit more about the Ubuntu ISO. So for this lab session, we're going to be using the Ubuntu 20.04.1 LTS. And to actually install this on your personal laptop, you would have to make sure you meet all of this criteria. So yes, there are some requirements you should have before installing this piece of software on your laptop. So basically, you should have a 2 GHz dual-core processor or above. You should also have 4 GB RAM installed on your personal laptop. You should have at least 25 GB of free space on your hard drive. And you should also have internet access as well. And lastly, you either need a DVD drive or a USB port installed on your personal laptop. So, to get ahead with this, we're just going to click on Download, and that takes us directly into the prompt, and it automatically starts downloading the virtual machine. So to move on to the next piece of software, let's get started with that. While we have the Ubuntu downloading, we just simply go back again to Google, and this time around, we need to download the Metasploit virtual machine. On Google, we just type in Metasploit download, and that takes you to this first page of this piece of software. The software has been made by Rapid7. Now, if we actually scroll down to the middle of the page, we can see what Metasploit actually is and what it is used for. In simple terms, Metasploit is intentionally being created to contain a lot of malware and vulnerabilities. This way, students can actually install Metasploit on their virtual machines and run different practical sessions exploring and exploiting those vulnerabilities. And at the end of the day, this is a way of teaching students to see the common vulnerabilities they have in systems. And at the end of every practical session, we will be carrying out what we call an incident report. So with the incident report, we will be documenting every report we have, every vulnerability we've encountered while on the lab session. And this way, you get familiar with actually writing incident reports. And when you actually get employed by a company or an organization, you will find it much more easier for you to document your findings on different vulnerabilities. Okay, so let's get into the download. So to get started with this, we just go to the base of the page and we go to download now. So first we have to put in our first name or last name, our job description, our job level, and the company we work for, our phone number, and lastly, we need to put in our email and a country where we're currently residing. And after that, we just have to check the last box. So, do you want to receive emails regarding any updates from Rapid7 or not? If you want, you can leave this unchecked. If you don't want it, then you could just click and check the box and click on Submit. And that will take you to another page where we can actually start our downloading. Next, we just simply click on Download Metasploit. And we can see at the moment, there is a pop-up saying Metasploit cannot be downloaded securely. This is because of what we said earlier. So, Metasploit contains a lot of intentional vulnerabilities and malware, but they are not harmful to your system. They're only being used when you run a lab session and you try to exploit that malware. And because I know this is safe, I just click on Keep. So at the moment, our Metasploit is still downloading and our Ubuntu is still downloading. And we need to download the CyberOps workstation. So how do we go about this now? There are actually two ways to get this done. If you remember the last time we actually installed the Cisco Packet Tracer, we actually went to the Cisco website. Now, to download this virtual machine, there is a quicker way. So if you go on Google and you type in CyberOps Workstation Download, this should take you to the second page where you have this. And on the second page, it takes you directly to the point at which you can actually download the virtual machine from Cisco. You can actually verify this is coming from Cisco. We can see that it is the secure network. We can actually go into details and see that this is coming from Cisco. Yes, this is coming from Cisco Netacad.com, which means it is pretty authentic. Now, if we scroll to the midsection of the page, we can see from the first questions being answered, there is a reply saying, I found it. And there's a link to the actual file for the CyberOps Workstation virtual machine. So basically, you could just simply click on this and automatically you can actually see it starts downloading the CyberOps Workstation virtual machine. So at the moment, I am done downloading all of the files I need and all the software they need. So I've downloaded the VirtualBox. I've downloaded the Ubuntu ISO from my VirtualBox. And I have downloaded the Metasploit virtual machine as well. And I've also downloaded the CyberOps Workstation. So let's jump into the installment process. So now I just go to the folder where I actually have to download downloaded files. And I will start with the VirtualBox because all of the software is going to be installed in the VirtualBox. So naturally, I would go to the VirtualBox first. And now we can actually see the installment process as being initialized. So this is actually the first tab we're going to see. It's just a welcome from Oracle saying, welcome to the VirtualBox. So we just basically click on Next, and that takes us to a customized setup. I would advise you to leave it at default for now. So don't mess around with the settings and just leave it the way it is as default. And basically what this is saying is this is the path to where you have the VirtualBox residing on your C drive. We don't want to change it. We actually want it to be exactly where it is. So we just click on Next, and they just ask you, okay, do you want to create a startup menu for this? Yes, I actually want that. Do you want to create a shortcut on the desktop? Do you want to create a quick launch tab? Yes, we just leave everything as default as it is, and we just click on Next. And the next page, we have a warning saying, installing the Oracle VirtualBox networking features, we will reset temporary disconnected from the network. Well, you don't have to worry about that because that wouldn't affect your connection at the moment. So we just click on Yes. And are you ready to go ahead and submit if you are all ready to go? So once you click and install, and we can actually see the VirtualBox is basically installing. So I'm just going to put a quick pause to the video and let the installation process run. Oh, at the moment it's actually done. Okay, so basically we just click and finish and then let it start up. Okay, so now we have the VirtualBox and we can actually see it's running on our laptop. So when we click on this now, we can see we have GUI for our VirtualBox. So basically, the VirtualBox is just a piece of software that enables you to fully utilize the resources you have present on your local laptop. So what that means is that we could stack up different virtual machines, and we can actually run multiple virtual machines simultaneously if we have enough processing power on our laptop. Remember, all the summary notes and slides are available in your toolkit and would really be worthwhile to keep as a resource at your fingertips beyond this course. But no sneak peeks. The lesson notes will only become available after you have attended your class or caught up with the lessons. These will also help you prepare for your assignments. Good job, everyone! Congratulations on completing Lesson 5. You've just passed the halfway mark of Module 1. See you soon for Lesson 6. And so ends our Lesson 5. We started off comparing the intranet, extranet, and internet. Then we moved into virtualization, and then we dived into network automation. And we ended with various demos to walk you through some of the processes.